Welcome back, friends, to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Megan, and today you guys know how much I love picking up your recommendations because having a community is so important here on my channel. You all recommended to me House of Hollow, alright? So I picked it up from the library, and today we're going to talk about what I thought about this book. Before we dive into it, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, you subscribe, and you hang out with us. And if you hear the background noise, if you hear my cat jingle jangling, if you hear the construction next door, there's absolutely nothing I can do to this. I know, are you going to come? Am I in your chair? You going to sit? Did you know we're talking? Say hello to the vlog. Okay. We've said hello to the vlog. Now we can get going into what I thought about House of Hollows. Let's just start off by saying, can we talk about this cover? Yeah, we can talk about it. This is beautiful imagery. I love so many things about this, and I'm so sorry. I'm going to keep trying to do this. It is... Alright, it's tractor season. And so, let's be real, I live right next to some farm fields, and so it's gonna keep breaking up this video. But I'm gonna hopefully no more go by while I talk about this. So the cover of this book is absolutely stunning. I love everything about this. However, I will say that while I'm gonna be incredibly critical about this, so don't get discouraged and don't think that I don't want to read your recommendations. What I'm saying is just my opinion, and the vibes of this were there. They were top tier. This was peak me core. There's so many beautiful imagery of like this juxtaposition between ethereal beauty and just straight up rot. And I just loved so many things about it. Yeah, you loved it too? Okay. It's up there. Do you need me to pick you up? Please don't make bread on me. I know. Okay. So there is so... Are you good now? Okay. So there's so many things just as far as the imagery goes that I absolutely loved about this book. And a lot of it just being, like I said, the contrast between beauty and rot and death and the things that are toxic. And that imagery is put out between, is constantly talked about. It's just beautiful things and being monsters. Beautiful monsters, if you will. And I don't want to get into too many spoilers right off, other than the fact that past that imagery, that's all that it gave me. I am not a huge fan of YA. So, and I only say that because while I love to read YA as a palate cleanser, there's something about the dynamics, the dialogue, and all of those things that just feel juvenile to me after reading so many books and being a full-grown adult with with my brain fully developed at this point. Let's just say it that way. That's the full brain is developed. What, that stops at that's peaked at 25, right? Okay. And so for that, I loved it. Vibes were there. The point that lost me, and so did I say what I rated it? I don't think I did. I gave this book 3.75 out of 5 because of what is going to be a spoiler. So if you don't want to be spoiled, maybe this isn't the best review for you. But I guess nah. I went into this completely blind also, you guys. I didn't know what this was going to be about. I love the haute couture, the Gothic haute couture elements of it. I know! Oh my gosh. And so that was... You be on baby today? No. Okay. Anyways, Suki is a very good co-host. You wouldn't sit with me when I read it though. Now there's gonna be cat hair stuck to my lip gloss, guys. All right, so spoilers moving forward. This, but okay, before we get to spoilers, we'll put a spoiler like little font down at the bottom when I actually start. Can you not put your leg where it's gonna scratch me? You guys have no idea how long I just paused to actually regain my thought because it was completely gone. I haven't sat down and done one of these videos for a while. I think that this book would be great for people who, I know fantasy is very popular just as an escape for people, so I think this would be a really great book to start if you wanted to dip your toes into something a little bit into the horror realm. However, I personally did not find this horror. I find this as a point. Why are you charging me? What? I don't find this horror, even though the spine says this is a fantasy horror YA, okay? Can you see those? You see that right there? To me, and again, I will get into the spoilers, which is where the horror aspects of it come in, other than the very dark imagery of death and taxidermy and rotting things and those sort of things, and then some filleting and whatnots later. I'm trying not to spoil it yet. This really just reads like a dark fantasy more than a horror. So it would be a dark fantasy with elements of horror in my opinion. Therefore, also being that it's YA, which just means that the characters are 18 and or under 18, you know? You really feel that while they're having this dialogue. It just reads really juvenile. I think I already said that, but who knows, the cat is being cat. So I'm losing my thoughts and I did not take notes. And if I didn't do this now, I was never going to get this video done for you. So I think this would be really fun if you wanted to try something a little bit spookier, like but you're not really into horror straight up. So now that those are all out of the way, I'm actually gonna get into the spoiler part. So I will make sure that I put my little spoiler, and editing Megan, make sure you actually mark where the spoilers are, because overall, while I did not find this to be a horrible book, I was entertained. There are some things that definitely got me very angry, and these are what are considered the elements of horror of this book, and a huge, yeah, a pretty huge spoiler. So throughout this book, you are following the story of Iris and her sisters Vivi, I believe is how you, and Gray, who went missing as children, and then they all have very, very different personalities. And the reason I say this is a dark fantasy over horror for me as a horror girly is because this very easily should have been just overall blanketed as the other world, the Fae world. These are very, very, very unseelie court characteristics as far as going along to say these are changelings, right? You find this out. These are changelings. This is the unseelie court, all right? That is what the unseelie court is. So when I hit about the 50% mark, I am talking with my hands because I'm incredibly angry about this. And those of you who know what kind of horror I like and the things that I do like and what I don't like, you're going to know there is the way that liminal space is handled in this book is just, you need to try again. This is absolutely not liminal space. Liminal space, in general, I did actually know a good definition of what liminal space is for you guys. So while definition, this is like, I guess in theory it follows it. However, this is not what it is. So the liminal space here is meant as a purgatory, a very natural space, a very Fae realm, if you will. It is very natural, it's full of decay, it's a bog, it's beautiful, but it's not a liminal space. A liminal space to me would be back rooms. So I'm moving over here slowly so I can pop up pictures. So the back rooms. You guys know? You know the back rooms, right? The yellow wallpaper, those things. If you're not familiar with the back rooms, liminal space peak, or an airport terminal, or a gas station in the middle of the night that is completely empty. It has man-made features. It has to be something that you know is completely normal and completely just like average but it's completely devoid of anything man-made. It's a man-made space devoid of anything man-made that then makes it be that anything could happen. It becomes an eerie space, a liminal space, a space where it's basically, it's almost uncanny valley, liminal space, crossroads, you know, that kind of thing. However, it still has to be man-made, devoid of anything man-made. All right, so it's much easier to cross over a liminal space with SCPs and other things that are kind of X-File, Twilight Zone-esque versus nature world. So any backroom game that has those levels that have organic like spaces to them, like the deep ocean is not liminal. That's something all in itself. This bog, this forest is not liminal because that in itself is natural and already has a quality of unease to it versus something where you're supposed to feel completely okay to go about your daily life. Also, the concept of the backrooms. If you guys don't know what the backrooms are, it's a liminal space where you fall into it. So referring to falling into the in-between really, I'm gonna say triggered me because it's not the same. This should have just been the Fae realm, an unseelie core area of an in-between, because they're going through arches, an in-between space, yes, so technically it's an in-between. However, it's not, it's a temporary space, an in-between, but it's still organic, and I feel that this is where I fell off. This is where, at this 50% mark, when they mentioned, oh, she fell into an in-between space, I lost it. I lost my marbles at this, and it made me completely angry and almost not want to finish the rest of the book, because like I said, I love liminal space in that imagery and uncanny valley and those sort of things, and mixing it with something that is just a dark fantasy, rotting purgatory, unseelie area, Fae, it's definitely just not doing it for me. And that was my biggest problem with it, other than the dialogue. It just felt very easy and very juvenile, but then again, it is YA, so I am not necessarily the one that's supposed to be digging deep, taking large chunks out of this. And again, the imagery and the atmosphere of this was everything. I loved everything about this book, other than the misuse of this horror, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, just I can't think of the word. I cannot think of the word, but like using this, like, just like kind of genre, this theme, this device, I guess, in a way that's just wrong, really threw me, and it severely docked my rating from what I wanted it to be. And because of that, I like I said, I gave it 3.75, but I did that because I loved the way the imagery and the atmosphere of it was, besides this literally wrong using of liminal space, because it's just not what liminal space is, and I could not get past that. I honestly thought I was going to DNF this book, however, I did not. So again, I think this is a really entertaining book if you're not into scary. If you want your dark fantasy, I take it as a dark fantasy. There are death, there are triggers. You can see them on Fable. I did check that. If you guys are interested in it, you can see it there. I personally do not find this scary. Visually, like, again, I loved, it was peak me core, if you will. Very much Penny Moon's core to the max. Or who am I on here? I'm Megan Moon's on this one. I can never, wherever you know me as, it's peak me core. So thank you for suggesting this book to me. I did enjoy it. I did get it from the library, and I did finish it, and I'm glad that I did, and I'm glad that I now have another like botanical style horror that I can add to some lists or list for recommendations. This was not nearly as horror as I would like it to be, but I did love the imagery. So Again, if you guys want me to read a book, if you want to see my recommendation on it, if you want more of my little reviews here, I will gladly give them to you. I just need enough people to recommend the same book, because if one of you suggests one book, one of you suggests another book, I may read it, but I may not do a review. But because enough of you told me to read this book, I am posting this video in review for you guys about what I thought. Let me know down below if you like this, if you, like I said, you want other videos like it. So I'm gonna close it off here. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you tune in and subscribe before October, because you know what's coming. You know the daily videos are coming for your viewing pleasure. All of the spooky, all of the good, all of the travel. You guys are not ready for the vacation that is about to happen, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. I am so excited. I keep crying. That's why I had to go and buy waterproof mascara. If you guys saw in a prior video, a haul video, go check that out. I got some new lipsticks. I'm not wearing it today because we just went to the library, so I wasn't wearing a full face of makeup, and I wasn't planning on doing this, so again, I wasn't gonna put the whole kit and caboodle together. But I did put some eyeliner on for you all, okay? But yeah, you guys aren't ready. You don't want to miss it, so stick around. Give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment down below if there's a book that you think I should read. And then if enough of you go back and like that book that's suggested, I will read it and I will post another review for you guys. I love you all. I'll see you real soon. Bye-bye.